Streaming live now on News8000.com. You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now. This morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Alexandra Carter.
And I'm Derek Sibley.
It is November 1st, 2023. November is here.
Yeah.
Are you someone who, goes straight from Halloween to Christmas, or do you like to leave some room for Thanksgiving?
I like to leave some room for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a hot subject.
I know. People are just like, forget Thanksgiving.
They
We're going to
do.
jump right into Christmas and New Year's.
And some people get pretty upset by that.
They really
But
do.
Thanksgiving does deserve,
Oh,
its
absolutely.
day
It
and
deserves
time.
its love.
Yes, of course.
I mean, I look forward to all the food and the family gathering, friends and family type, and of course the football. So
of course,
we can't forget about
No, you can't
this
forget
holiday.
about
No,
that.
it's coming
we'll
up.
make sure that we don't forget about it here at News 8.
Exactly. Coming up in a few weeks.
Yeah, it's
coming up
quickly
quick.
approaching for sure.
Yeah, so get ready. We are talking about a very cold start here this morning. Right now, our skies, however, are looking clear, but you can see we got a bunch of clouds back towards the west. That's going to be moving in here today, and that's going to make things very cloudy here come this afternoon. Here's a look at those temperatures. Bundle up out there. We got readings into the teens and low 20s, 17 in Eau Claire and 24 degrees currently now in La Crosse. Here's a look at your planner today. Cloudy skies throughout the day. We're going to be looking at highs warming up into the mid to upper 30s by around the early afternoon, followed by highs around 40 come around 3 o'clock. And also breezy conditions will make temperatures feel very chilly come this afternoon as well. So make sure to stay warm out there if you're going to be outside. Dog walking forecast calls for partly cloudy skies to start. We will be looking at cloudy skies arriving this afternoon and also into this evening. And again, just the cold and chilly weather is what we're going to be dealing with here throughout the day as well. Now stay tuned. I'll have a check on your schoolcast plus another check on your full weather forecast coming up in a few minutes. Alexandra?
Thank you, Derek. Let's get to some headlines now this morning, starting with American authorities now saying the war between Israel and Hamas is inspiring hate crimes here at home with the potential for U.S.-based terror attacks. CBS's Chanel Call has more.
This cruelty by New Yorkers against New Yorkers must stop.
Days after social media posts surfaced threatening violence against Jewish students at Cornell University, federal authorities have made an arrest. New York Governor Kathy Hochul saying 21-year-old Patrick Dye was questioned by state police and the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force on Tuesday.
I reaffirm that there is zero tolerance for hate in our state.
The arrest comes as top government officials say hate crimes are rising across the country in the wake of the Israel-Hamas war. During an annual hearing to evaluate homeland threats, FBI Director Christopher Wray sent a sober warning to Americans.
The ongoing war in the Middle East has raised the threat of an attack against Americans in the United States to a whole nother level.
Levels unseen since the emergence of ISIS, Wray says.
The cost and the threats to the United States and to the world keep rising. It's like feeding the alligator, hoping that he's going to eat you last.
Some protests at college campuses have escalated into intimidation, while a young Muslim boy was killed in Illinois in an apparent hate crime.
Our most immediate concern is that violent extremists, individuals or small groups, will draw inspiration from the events in the Middle East to carry out attacks against Americans going about their daily lives.
Back at Cornell, campus police will maintain a heightened security presence, aiming to protect those at risk.
That 21-year-old Cornell student is expected to appear in federal court later today. In response to the heightened threats, the White House will soon start developing an anti-Islamophobia strategy. But it comes as the administration is facing sharp criticism from many Muslim Americans for its support of Israel's military assault on Hamas in Gaza. Former President Donald Trump has filed a new lawsuit in Michigan to keep his name on the ballot. In September, an advocacy group filed a lawsuit citing the 14th Amendment that could prevent Michigan's Secretary of State from being able to put Trump on the state's ballot. The 14th Amendment is a Civil War-era amendment that makes anyone who's involved in an insurrection stops them from being able to take an oath of office. Trump's new lawsuit claims the Michigan Secretary of State cannot keep him from getting on the ballot under the 14th Amendment. Similar disputes are underway in Colorado and Minnesota. The United States Air Force and Space Force are raising their recruitment age limits. The age limit for all new enlisted and officer recruits is now 42 years old. The Air Force says it made that change because of a lack of applicants after this year's recruitment target was missed for the first time since 1999. Air Force officials expect the new age limit to bring in an additional 50 recruits per year. The Biden administration is proposing a new rule aimed at making it easier for Americans to save for retirement and avoid those pesky junk fees. The rule would require financial professionals who sell retirement investments and advice to only do so in the best interest of their clients, not their own. In other words, to not steer a client toward one product or service based on how much more they or their firm could make by doing so. The U.S. currently has some fiduciary guidelines in place, but it does not cover all types of investments. One example of a transaction that's not currently covered is a one-time rollover from a 401k to an IRA. The Food and Drug Administration is issuing a warning on certain eye drop products this morning. The FDA says investigators found unsanitary conditions at a manufacturing facility and that drug production areas tested positive for bacteria contamination. The alert covers 26 different over-the-counter eye drop products sold under brands like CVS, Leader, Rugby, Rite Aid, Target, Up & Up, and Velocity Pharma. The FDA warns these products may cause a risk of infection that could potentially result in partial vision loss or even blindness. The agency says anyone who has previously bought these products should stop using them right away. According to the CDC, more than 37 million Americans are living with diabetes. The CDC defines diabetes as a chronic health condition where your body doesn't make enough or can't use insulin properly. Mandy Gaither has a few ways to help prevent health problems like diabetes.
It's a common disease, but millions of Americans may not even know they have diabetes, even though early detection is critical.
As soon as you can have the diagnosis made, the sooner the proper treatment can begin.
Diabetes can damage the eyes, kidneys, nerves, and heart.
If you have high blood glucose, you're more likely to have high blood pressure and high cholesterol. And those three factors, either independently and certainly working together, can damage the small vessels in our bodies.
You can prevent diabetes-related health problems by taking charge of your health. That includes adopting healthy lifestyle habits like a sensible diet. Physical activity and getting adequate sleep is also important, as is managing stress and taking medicines on time.
Smoking also has a detrimental effect on your small blood vessels. And so, especially with people with diabetes, we want to suggest that they try to stop smoking.
Experts say small health changes over time can make a big difference and may not be as overwhelming.
You could begin to make choices that you are more likely to stick to.
According to the CDC's National Diabetes Statistics Report, around 96 million American adults have prediabetes. Some of the risk factors include being overweight, being 45 years or older, or having a close relative with type 2 diabetes. Still to come on your morning news, there's a new recall on a popular brand of dog food this morning. We'll take a look at what bags are affected and what you should do if you have any of them in your pantry. And the Federal Reserve is expected to announce its latest recommendation on interest rates today. We'll have a closer look at what some economists are expecting the Fed to recommend and what it could mean for borrowers. That and more coming up this morning. For now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. The ghosts, ghouls, and goblins may be done for the year, but Halloween isn't the last day to celebrate the dead. November 1st is Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead. It's a Mexican holiday where people welcome their deceased relatives for a visit. You're likely familiar with those brightly painted, smiling skulls. You may even use some to decorate for Halloween. Those are called calaveras, and their purpose is to show that death isn't scary. Instead, Day of the Dead is about remembering death is part of the human experience and an opportunity to be reunited with those who went before you. Don't go anywhere. Your consumer news at News 8 Now this morning is after the break.
Our skies are looking nice and clear here this morning, but we are keeping an eye on the cloud cover, which is back towards just to our west, and that is moving in our general direction, and we are expecting a mainly cloudy day once all those clouds begin to roll through. Temperatures now into the teens and 20s. Very cold in Eau Claire. You're at 17. Black River Falls at 14. Sparta's at 12. La Crosse sitting at 24 degrees. We're going to only be looking at high temperatures this afternoon into the 30s and 40s. Look at La Crosse County today. Upper 30s and low 40s is what we can be said here come today. It will be only 35 in Viroqua this afternoon and 41 in La Crescent. Looking at highs around 39 today if you're in Lansing, and at 38 to the east in Hillsboro, 39 in Gays Mills. Moving north into the central zones, 38 Black River Falls today, and highs mainly into the upper 30s, low 40s here across much of our west central zones there, and across the north zones in the Chippewa Valley, highs around 38 today if you're in Eau Claire. So your bus stop forecast, I definitely recommend bringing that jacket with you. It's definitely cold. A few clouds, 22 degrees here to start. On the way back home, we warm up to just about 40 degrees under cloudy skies. I'll have a check on your full weather forecast coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you, Derek. In your consumer news this morning, we have an important pet food recall, so dog owners, you may want to listen to this one and take a look at your screen. Mid-America Pet Food is voluntarily recalling 3 lots of this Victor Supreme premium dog food, select beef, meal, and brown rice formula. According to the FDA, the recall was initiated after a third party conducted random sampling and found salmonella. The effective bags have a best by date of June 12th of next year. The FDA says salmonella can affect animals, and there is also a risk to people handling the contaminated food. If you have any of these affected products, you should destroy them immediately in a way that kids, pets, and other wildlife can't access. Open enrollment for health insurance starts today, but if you're planning on getting your employer's health coverage, you may have to pay a little bit more for the same amount of coverage this year. Insurance benefit consultants say the cost of employee health coverage is expected to increase because of, you guessed it, ongoing inflation. They also say that because of the increase, employees who are on those plans may have to pay higher premiums and out-of-pocket costs when visiting the doctor. Experts don't know how much the increases will be next year, but they say that this year premiums have already increased roughly 2%, while out-of-pocket costs have increased by nearly 6%. The next time you visit your local Walmart, it could look a bit different. That's because the retail giant is announcing plans to redesign some of its stores. The company says they'll update more than 100 stores spanning 30 states at a cost of nearly $500 million. Some of the changes include adding new pharmacies to the front of the stores and showcasing home goods in touch and feel displays to get shoppers to interact with the products. The company says the changes are to encourage customers to shop for more than just groceries and essentials. The Federal Reserve is expected to announce their latest recommendation on interest rates today. Some economists are expecting the Fed to hold rates steady for this month. John Lawrence has more on what the expected announcement could mean for both current and soon-to-be borrowers.
The Federal Reserve isn't deflating its fight against inflation.
It's moved down, but the pace of progress has slowed. There's still a ways to go to get to that desired 2% mark.
Despite that, most economists predict Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell will hold interest rates steady for the second time in a row.
Market interest rates have gone up mightily since the beginning of August. And so that does a lot of the Fed's dirty work for them. They can afford to hold off on raising rates further at this juncture.
The U.S. economy had a strong third quarter, thanks in large part to robust consumer spending. However, even if interest rates stay the same, they're still at a level not seen in 22 years. And some analysts say that could cause financial concerns.
I think if you paint with a broad brush, it ignores the reality that about 60% of households are living paycheck to paycheck. We've seen credit card balances going up at a time when credit card rates are at a record high. People are not financing purchases at 20% interest because everything's wonderful.
The Federal Reserve has raised interest rates 11 times since March of last year, and Fed officials say a 12th hike is possible in December.
We're headed towards a serious fiscal crisis in the country and do need to start having the conversation about what to cut.
Some of the things that could potentially affect interest rates and the economy include the resuming of student loan payments and the threat of a possible upcoming government shutdown. That's it for your morning consumer news. Time now to check in with Derek for a look at today's forecast.
All right, thanks for that, Alexandra. Definitely a very cold start out there this morning, but at least our skies are looking nice and clear. But the clear skies and light winds have definitely contributed to what is already a very cold morning so far. 24 degrees is the temperature now. South winds at 6 miles an hour. If you're in Eau Claire, you're looking much colder than that. You're in the teens, 17 to be exact. Southwest winds at around 3 miles an hour. So as you can see, our temperatures across the board into the teens and 20s, so a combination of both there. 19 currently in Viroqua. It's 23, slightly warmer towards the northwest in Winona. And check out Sparta. You're currently at 12. Black River Falls very cold as well for you at 14. So make sure to stay warm, bundle up as you head out the door this morning. It still will be pretty cold by noon. 34 will be our temperature under cloudy skies. It will remain cloudy, 41 being our temperature at 4 o'clock. And then maybe a little bit less clouds by the time we reach 8 o'clock this evening. Partly cloudy, 34 degrees being the temperature there, with our forecast highs mainly into the 30s. Some spots, though, like La Crosse, could hit a high today of about 41 degrees before it's all said and done. And I do think areas like Bosque Bell, maybe even Prairie du Chien, hitting highs near 40 degrees as well. So as you can see, as we head into time, 1 o'clock this afternoon, I expect the majority, if not all of us, to be mainly cloudy. So not expecting a whole lot of sunlight here, unfortunately, this afternoon. As we head into tonight, that's when those clouds, however, will decrease. I am expecting another round of cloud cover to move in as we head into tomorrow morning, and then we see the clouds decrease again as we head into tomorrow evening. And this rinse and repeat type of cycle with the clouds moving in and then clearing out will continue as we head throughout the rest of this week here, because by Friday morning it's still going to be pretty cloudy once again from another disturbance moving in. Maybe a slight chance of a shower here is possible as well underneath some of those thicker clouds too. And then by 2 o'clock you can see those clouds will clear out yet again, and then they increase once again by the time we reach Friday night. So that's what we're kind of looking at here with this weather pattern over the next several days for a bit. 8-day forecast showing highs into the 40s and 50s. I think our next best chance of rain will probably come this weekend, maybe on Saturday. We'll keep our eyes on that. Sunday we'll get a break here in between. It will be cloudy though, because by then on Monday we get better chances of rain at 50%, and then maybe slight chances could linger as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Low temperatures into the 30s mainly. All right, stay with us. We're back with much more news and weather still to come on News 8 Now this morning. For now though, we're sending in a break with a look what happened on this day in history for November 1st. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Morning Blitz. College athletics has seen a lot of change and will continue to do so as conference realignment continues to set in. It's even trickled down to the smaller schools as everyone is doing what they think is best for their program, and is exactly why Viterbo Athletics will be moving to the Chicagoland Collegiate Athletic Conference. Yesterday at the Viterbo Athletic Center, coaches, athletes, and administration gathered as Viterbo President Rick Tritley and Athletic Director Barry Freed made the announcement official. Starting next year, Viterbo Athletics will no longer be in the North Star Athletic Association and will be joining 12 other schools in the CCAC. More stability, more exposure, and less travel are all things that played a role in the decision, and Freed says it's important to get ahead before falling behind.
That's just how college athletics is right now. Realignment all over the country, and you have to be willing to change with the times. And we think this is a phenomenal fit for us to move to the Chicagoland.
Freed also told me that the schools in the CCAC are very similar to Viterbo in terms of mission, size, and overall profile. President Tritley also says it's not only great for the student athletes, but the move will get the Viterbo brand into a bigger market all across Illinois. The move will start at the beginning of the 2024 academic year. Yesterday, the trade deadline, and the Green Bay Packers decided to get in on the action by sending away one of their best defensive players in Rasul Douglas. Douglas, along with a 5th-round draft pick, are being traded to the Buffalo Bills for a 2024 3rd-round draft pick. Douglas played in 36 games since joining the Packers in 21, recording 160 tackles, 32 pass breakups, and 10 interceptions. A clear sign on what the Packers' expectations are for the rest of the season. And in Minnesota, the Vikings are bringing in a new quarterback to replace Kirk Cousins. The Vikings traded for Cardinals QB Josh Dobbs. The Vikings are sending Arizona a 6th-round draft pick in exchange for Dobbs and a 7th-round draft pick. This trade comes just days after Vikings QB Kirk Cousins suffered a torn Achilles and will be out for the year. Dobbs has started 8 games this year for Arizona, throwing for just over 1,500 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. This isn't a permanent replacement, just a move to survive the rest of the season. All right, that's going to do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
You're watching News 8 Now. Expect more.
The former leader of the La Crosse Tea Party is heading to trial. Greg Luce has been charged in connection to an alleged hit and run back in August. A not guilty plea was entered on his behalf during a preliminary hearing Monday. The criminal complaint alleges he drove recklessly on Losey Boulevard, which led to an altercation with a motorcyclist. Lucy brake-checked the motorcyclist, who claims Lucy's truck hit his motorcycle and caused him to fall. Lucy drove away but claims his truck did not hit anyone. A pretrial conference is scheduled for November 17th. A Winona woman accused of killing her husband in a hit-and-run was back in court yesterday. 51-year-old Lori Phillips has already pleaded not guilty to charges connected to her husband's 2019 death in Holmen. Phillips says she found his body in a snowbank in their driveway the morning after they had a heated argument. The case is soon heading to trial, but yesterday Phillips was in court for a motion hearing to decide if the jury can visit the scene of the crime. The state argued that would help the jury get a better understanding of the evidence. Ultimately, the judge sided against the jury view, saying that would be prejudicial. Jury selection and the trial are set to start next Monday. Governor Tony Evers is suing the Republican-controlled state legislature. The Wisconsin Democrat is arguing the legislature is obstructing basic government functions. That includes not signing off on previously approved pay raises for university employees. Evers is hoping to bypass lower courts. He's asking the liberal-controlled state Supreme Court to take the case directly. Republican Senate Majority Leader Devin LeMahieu dismissed the lawsuit as, quote, frivolous. State Republicans are reintroducing a bill that would allow election workers to start counting absentee ballots a day early. Early voting has risen in popularity since 2020, but current state law says absentee ballots can't be processed until Election Day. That means in larger cities like Milwaukee and Madison are counting long into the night and early into the following day. If passed, the bill would allow those major cities a head start to get results in on election night. A group of bipartisan Wisconsin lawmakers want to make sure artificial intelligence doesn't influence future elections. They're launching a new bill that would require candidates and political groups to make it clear when they're using AI-generated audio or video in campaign ads. Those groups would need to put a content label at the beginning of projects that says this video content is generated by AI. Any violations would trigger a $1,000 fine. The lawmakers behind the effort say it's a step toward reducing the potential for AI spreading misinformation in the coming election cycles. A new report finds PayPal's charity arm gave thousands of dollars to organizations propping up discredited COVID-19 information. The nonprofit and nonpartisan Wisconsin Watch dug through 2021 tax records for PayPal's Giving Fund. The Giving Fund is a registered 501c3 that allows donors to donate directly through PayPal and recommend where the money should go. The outlet found the charity gave $23,000 to an organization that promoted discredited treatments for COVID-19. It also found major investment firms like Fidelity and Charles Schwab donated hundreds of thousands of dollars, anonymous dollars that is, to the same discredited group. PayPal gave a statement to Wisconsin Watch saying it regularly reviews activity and will discontinue relationships with any account holders who violate its acceptable use policy. A Union Pacific train partially derailed in Janesville yesterday afternoon. Officials say the 4-car derailment happened at about 3:30. A Union Pacific spokesperson says that one of the cars spilled grain in the surrounding area. Officials say nobody was hurt in the derailment and no hazardous materials were spilled. Officials say they are still investigating the cause of the incident. $160,000 in federal funding is on its way to La Crosse to help the city with road safety planning. La Crosse is one of 5 Wisconsin communities awarded a total of nearly $1 million. The money comes from the U.S. Department of Transportation's Safe Streets and Roads for All program. La Crosse will use its money to develop plans for projects focused on creating safer and more equitable streets. Monday, we showed you how small dairy farmers struggle to overcome tighter and tighter margins as costs continue to soar. One dairy farmer told us he's at the bottom of the food chain, but the next step above them, truckers, are in just as big of a hole. Tim Neubauer has his own trucking company in Sparta, 39 trucks, 60 drivers, hauling milk from 80 Wisconsin dairy farms for 6 processors. He says profits are way down in the last couple years. Wages have gone up $2 to $5 an hour. Inflation has made tires and other parts double in price, but the cost of diesel fuel doubling has been the biggest problem. It's stopping him from getting new trucks into his fleet to replace the old ones. So he's selling off some equipment to generate cash, but the rising costs have forced other haulers out of the industry, something the rest of them are trying to avoid.
So many milk haulers that had to exit the business because they could not keep going, that they started paying us better, compensating the diesel fuel costs and the wages so we could stay in business. Another 4 years of this high-priced fuel and all the parts are high. We don't know how much longer we could withstand it.
He says fuel prices need to come down or Americans may have to shift to paying more for food than they're used to. The Tomah VA Medical Center held a recovery rally to celebrate their services for veterans dealing with mental health and substance use challenges. The open event focused on healing and featured guest speakers who shared their personal journeys on recovery. They talked about the importance of connection and remembering to remain authentic during the healing process, emphasizing that no 2 paths in recovery are the same. The director of substance use disorders says communication also plays a vital role.
Just talking about mental health is the way to healing and bringing everyone together to remind them that we have so many services available to veterans and that they're not alone, so that they can come here, connect with each other on something that's meaningful and know that they've got support here at the VA.
The Tomah VA Medical Center serves approximately 28,000 veterans in 16 counties across Wisconsin and Minnesota. Trick-or-treating is normally something that takes place outdoors, but for those stuck in the hospital, it can be especially difficult. Luckily for the kids at Gunderson Health, the hospital staff put their own twist on this holiday tradition. News 8 Now, Shaquille Davis has the story for us.
I do know her name because she's our nurse. Hi, sweetie. Happy Halloween.
They actually care about the patients here. They don't, like, it's not a number to them. They're actually caring, loving. They treat every kid like their own.
Trick-or-treating inside a hospital hallway isn't ideal.
It's good to have someone that actually cares, an organization that cares.
But the staff at Gunderson says it's their mission to give the kids the best Halloween possible.
Just something to make the family smile, because having their baby here is not an easy thing. It's just something to brighten their day and to make everybody else smile for Halloween.
Even the smallest kids here got in on the action.
We decided to dress up the babies this year, and so we have costumes for the babies to be in, and they can be a variety of different things.
NICU nurse Renee Salverson is the mastermind behind the costumes.
Just searching different newborn crochet outfits. Most of them are animals. There's a couple that aren't, but the majority of them are all animals just because they're cute.
Travis Buck, whose 3 daughters are patients here, is grateful his kids have a place to spend Halloween. His daughter Elena has one message for the staff.
Halloween. Happy Halloween. There we go.
In La Crosse, Shaquille Davis, News 8 Now.
That is so sweet. Now here's Derek to tell us what to expect for our morning commute.
All right, thanks for that, Alexandra. We're starting off clear now, but you can see the clouds are not too far away. They are just off to our west and moving into our direction now, and that is going to lead to a mainly cloudy day here, especially this afternoon. Let's take a look at those temperatures right now. It's a very cold and frigid start. We got the teens here in many spots. So Claire, you're at 17, Black River Falls at 14, Sparta not too far from that temperature, just a little cooler at 12, even Volkfield into the teens at 14. 14. La Crosse currently at 24. Winona's at 23 degrees. Even Boscobel down south at 20. Prairie du Chien at 23 degrees. Forecast today, mostly cloudy skies, a high of about 41 degrees. But either way, still very cold this time of the year and unseasonably so with the chilly conditions that we're expecting from that southwest wind at around 10 to 15 miles an hour. Tonight, 25 degrees, still very cold and still on the chilly side, partly cloudy skies. South-southwest winds not as breezy at around 5 to 10 miles an hour, though. I'll have a check on your full weather forecast coming up in a few minutes. And also coming up in our Buzz Reports, we'll have a quick look at the most remote restaurant in the world documentary. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, we're off to a nice clear start right now, but it's very cold out there, though, for this time of the year at least. 24 degrees with clear skies is what we currently have right now in La Crosse. If you're in Eau Claire, you're even colder than that, currently sitting at 17 degrees. Southwest winds light at around 3 miles an hour. Luckily, though, right, those winds are light. Otherwise, those wind chill effects would just be downright miserable. But right now, we can see we got a combination of the teens and 20s currently. The teens are mainly focused to the east. Black River Falls, Oakfield, Sparta between 12 to 14. Winona's currently at 23 degrees. Viroqua at 19 and Boscobel currently at 20. So bring that jacket with you. I think you'll need it here this morning. We'll be at 34 degrees with cloudy skies, though, by around noon. Warming up to 41 with still pretty cloudy weather conditions moving in as we head to the later afternoon hours. And then by 8 o'clock, still a little chilly, 34 degrees under partly cloudy weather conditions. Look at the forecast high numbers today. Still very cold for this time of the year. This is very unseasonable. We got highs into the upper 30s to low 40s this afternoon. I'm expecting 38 in Eau Claire and a high of 41 degrees if you're in La Crosse here today. So as of right now, just a few clouds, but again, those clouds are really just going to increase, however, as the day goes on. So we're not expecting a whole lot of sunshine, unfortunately, to deal with today, but we will see some clearing skies yet again as we head into tonight. But this rinse and repeat type of cycle of the clouds moving in and moving out are going to continue over the next several days. Here's tomorrow, and you can see the clouds once again moving in, moving out as we head into tomorrow evening. And then by Friday, yeah, you guessed it, we got clouds moving in yet again from the west with an overcast shield expected here to move through. Maybe a slight chance of a couple of showers there in some spots across the area. And then the clouds will clear out a little bit by 2 o'clock on Friday, followed by some more increasing cloud cover for much of the Coulee region yet again as we head into Friday night. Now, I think we'll see some better chances of rain, though, as we head into this weekend. A little bit more moisture could move in to set off some rain here on Saturday. We'll get a bit of a break there on Sunday, still remaining cloudy, but seasonable with temperatures with that high of 51 there. Heading into next week, I think we see some better chances of rain, especially on Monday. Some slight rain chances could linger into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Otherwise, those highs in the 40s and 50s and lows mainly into the 30s.
Thank you, Derek. Time now for our Morning Buzz Report. Emmy-winning soap opera star Tyler Christopher has died. Yesterday, the actor's death was confirmed by his representative. He was awarded 2 Daytime Emmys for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series, one in 2016 for his role in General Hospital and one in 2019 for his role in Days of Our Lives. Christopher was also an advocate for better mental health and substance use treatment. Tyler Christopher was 50 years old.
Hej, hvad du? Køkkenet? Hvilket køkken? Ja. Jeg tror ikke, vi kommer til at åbne om 9 dage. Der er ikke noget gulv, der er ikke noget afløb, der er ikke noget vand, der er ikke noget strøm, der er ingenting.
That was a sneak peek of the new documentary, The Most Remote Restaurant in the World. The film follows a team attempting to relocate a 2 Michelin star restaurant from Denmark's Faroe Islands to a small village in Greenland. The new documentary is now streaming on Viaplay. New Kids on the Block fans may soon get a chance to see them live. That's because the band has announced their Magic Summer 2024 tour. The upcoming tour will also feature special guest musicians like Paula Abdul and DJ Jazzy Jeff. The tour will run for 3 months and make stops in more than 40 cities, including Chicago, Minneapolis, and Milwaukee. You can buy pre-sale tickets on their website.
There are 2 things in the music business: before Thriller and after Thriller.
That That was a quick look at the new documentary Thriller 40. The new film shows us a behind-the-scenes look at how Michael Jackson's iconic song Thriller helped redefine the pop music genre. It also features interviews with Usher, will.i.am, and Mark Ronson. Thriller 40 premieres on Paramount Plus with Showtime on December 2nd.
Another good one coming out with Thriller there, it seems
I
like.
know. Can you do the Thriller dance?
No.
It's
I
a
can't do
hard
any
one.
dance.
Yeah, I know. It's definitely hard.
Yeah.
But you never know. Some meteorologists have, special talents, so we got to figure
like
that
dancing?
out. Maybe.
Yeah? No?
Well, before we head to break, it's time to take a look at today's Look Who's 8.
We'll start with Charlie. He's turning 8 months old today. Now, he is always smiling and loves to catch up to his brothers. Look at him on the swing there.
I know, having fun during warmer temperatures, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Happy birthday.
And Fable is turning 8 years old. She loves Taylor Swift and Foursquare. Yep, another.
Foursquare. We haven't heard that in a while.
I know. Maybe we should start News 8 Foursquare League.
Foursquare, I like that.
I like it too.
Let's do it. Grayson is turning 8 years old today. Now, he loves riding his dirt bike, spending time on the river as well.
And Haley is turning 8 years old as well. She loves gymnastics, volleyball, and country music.
All right, well, if you know a special someone that's turning 8 months, 8 years, 8 weeks, 8 years, 8 months, oh, I'm all over the place here.
So many eights,
Just,
I know.
You know
it's
what to
hard
do. I think we
read.
say this every day.
Yes, if anyone is turning any of those, we would love to feature them. Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for the Submit Pictures button under the Home tab. Stay with us. We have everything you need to know today in 5 minutes or less. Your Morning News Now is up next. The former leader of the La Crosse Tea Party is heading to trial. Greg Luce has been charged in connection to an alleged hit and run back in August. A not guilty plea was entered on his behalf during a preliminary hearing earlier this week. The criminal complaint alleges he drove recklessly on Losey Boulevard, which led to an altercation with a motorcyclist. Luce brake-checked the motorcyclist, who claims Luce's truck hit his motorcycle and caused him to fall. Luce drove away but claims his truck didn't hit anyone. A pretrial conference is scheduled for November 17th. A Winona woman accused of killing her husband in a hit and run was back in court yesterday. 51-year-old Lori Phillips has already pleaded not guilty to charges connected to her husband's 2019 death in Holman. Phillips says she found his body in a snowbank in their driveway the morning after they had a heated argument. The case is soon heading to trial, but yesterday Phillips made a court appearance for a motion hearing to decide if the jury could visit the scene of the crime. The state argued that would help the jury get a better understanding of the evidence. Ultimately, the judge sided against that view, saying it would be prejudicial. Jury selection and the trial are set to start next Monday. Governor Tony Evers is suing the Republican-controlled state legislature. The Wisconsin Democrat is arguing the legislature is obstructing basic government functions. That includes not signing off on previously approved pay raises for university employees. Evers is hoping to bypass lower courts. He's asking the liberal-controlled state Supreme Court to take the case directly. Republican Senate Majority Leader Devin LeMahieu dismissed the lawsuit as, quote, frivolous. State Republicans are reintroducing a bill that would allow election workers to start counting absentee ballots a day early. Early voting has risen in popularity since 2020, but current state law says absentee ballots cannot be processed until Election Day. That means in larger cities like Milwaukee and Madison, they're counting long into the night and even into the following day. If passed, the bill would allow those major cities a head start to get results in on election night. Republicans are the only ones to voice support so far, but one Senate Democrat tells Wisconsin Public Radio his party is having positive discussions with the GOP. A similar bill in 2019 had bipartisan support, but never made it to the governor's desk. The Food and Drug Administration is issuing a warning on certain eye products. The FDA says investigators found unsanitary conditions at a manufacturing facility and that drug production areas tested positive for bacteria contamination. The FDA warns the eye drop products may cause a risk of infection that could potentially result in partial vision loss or even blindness. The alert covers 26 different over-the-counter eye drop products sold under brands such as CVS Health, Leader, Rugby, Rite Aid, Target, Up and Up, and Velocity Pharma. The agency says anyone who has previously bought these products should stop using them immediately. The FDA says they have not received any reports of eye infections caused by the products. $160,000 in federal funding is on its way to La Crosse to help the city with road safety planning. La Crosse is one of 5 Wisconsin communities awarded a total of nearly $1 million. The money comes from the U.S. Department of Transportation's Safe Streets and Roads for All program. La Crosse will use its $160,000 to develop plans for projects focused on creating safer and more equitable streets. The Tomah VA Medical Center held a recovery rally to help celebrate its services for veterans dealing with mental health and substance use challenges. The open event focused on healing and featured guest speakers who shared their personal journeys on recovery. They talked about the importance of connection and remembering to remain authentic during the healing process, emphasizing that no two paths in recovery are the same. Director of Substance Use Disorders, Haley Powell, says communication also plays a vital role.
Just talking about mental health is the way to healing and bringing everyone together to remind them that we have so many services available to veterans and that they're not alone. So they can come here, connect with each other on something that's meaningful and know that they've got support here at the VA.
The Tomah VA Medical Center serves approximately 28,000 veterans in 16 counties across Wisconsin and Minnesota.
And as you head out the door this morning, bring that jacket with you. You will need it. Keep yourself warm as temperatures are into the teens and 20s. We will increase the clouds, though, as the day goes on. That will lead to a mainly cloudy day with highs into the 30s and 40s, and also pretty breezy and chilly out there as well. So stay warm today. Now tomorrow, slightly warmer, perhaps at 45 degrees. Not as cloudy, a little bit cloudier for Friday, but our temperatures will be a little seasonable, though. High of 52. Slight chance of showers possible on Saturday. I think we'll see some better chances, though, come early next week on Monday. And that will be our next cool down, too, as we head into next week as well.
All right, so a little bit more of a roller coaster road, just maybe less intense ups and downs, right?
I would say so. Yeah,
all right, sounds good. Thank you, Derek. And thank you so much for watching News 8 Now this morning. Don't forget to join us at noon, 5, 6, and 10 tonight. We will see you back here then. Have a great day.